Hey there, sewing friends. Welcome to my channel, Ro Can Sew. I'm Ro, and this is a Hashtag Friday Sews. So most of you probably already know Hashtag Friday Sews is essentially a weekly sewing update from the sewing room. So what's been going on in my sewing room this week? I'm about to tell you. So if you're interested, here we go. So the first thing that I can report on this week is the jeans that I made. I think it might have been the previous video or maybe 2 videos ago. It doesn't matter. I'll see if I can insert a card. But the jeans that I made, when I finished them, there was a hole, 2 holes in the center back seam. I did go back this week and I did a zigzag over that seam. I'll try to show you. If it doesn't show up on camera, I'll just, because the light switched. I'll insert a picture. The holes, upon closer inspection, I realized they fell on the side of the seam that the seam allowances are pressed towards. Because of the way I finished it, I didn't press my seams open. I kind of serged them together, pressed them to one side. Anyway, the holes are on the same side that the seam is pressed towards. So rather than putting a fabric patch back there, I realized all I really needed to do was just sort of zigzag over the holes and tack them to the seam allowances. And I kind of feel like that's going to be a secure fix. And so these are now wearable in the rotation and I'm good to go. And as a side note, now that I've made this and I've gotten used to the style of these pants, which is different than what I have been wearing, I kind of want to make a linen pair, but I don't think that's going to be my next project. I do want to make a linen pair of pants. I have some linen fabric that I want to work with, but I think that's going to be 1 or 2 projects down the road yet. The other thing that I completed in my sewing room was I finished the jacket to go with the pants that I made a few videos back. The only thing that was left on the jacket was I needed to put a snap on it, and I just finished that before I did this recording actually. And I will be trying to get that video edited and out to you hopefully in a few days. I do still need to take some pictures of the jacket and some photos wearing it. And I'm still trying to get used to this sharing of information on YouTube. I'm used to Instagram. I usually just do silent, still photos and share that way. So trying to share on YouTube is a new thing for me. So I went overboard this time, and when I was working on the jacket, I thought I'll record all the stuff so that I'll have material to work with, and I ended up with a ridiculous number of hours of footage on that jacket, and now I have to sift through it and try to condense it down into informative and not overly repetitive type of video to bring to people, and some of the content just doesn't ever need to see the light of day anywhere, I don't think. So I am working on that and I will get that out soon. So outside of those 2 items that I finished last week, what am I going to be working on next? I think my next project is going to be another pair of pants. I'm still kind of into the pant exploration, trying to get better at that. So I'm just trying to continue to make them. And I have a pattern that I made a few years ago. This is an out-of-print pattern, but I made this one a few years ago, and I did not like the first pair that I made. I did not make the correct size, which is easy to do, I guess, with the Big 5 patterns, but that's another story. But I didn't make the correct size, and it was early enough in my garment sewing. I didn't have a lot of appropriate knowledge necessary to do the pattern adjustments that would have been required. So what I did to it just resulted in ill-fitting pants, basically, and I haven't been happy with them. So they really haven't gotten worn. But I wanted to remake the pattern. Now that I have a little more information, a little more experience, I thought I would try it again because it is a simple pattern. It's just front, back, and what they're calling a yoke. They're not calling it a waistband, they're calling it a yoke, and I don't know if it's just because it's a wide waistband, doesn't matter. But I thought I would make a pair of these, and I thought that I would try to expand and make like an actual set So initially I was thinking I would make a top to go with this out of the same fabric that I would be using for the pants, but now I'm thinking about making a different top. But let me just start with the fabric for the pants. So I have this cotton and tencel blend. It is a fabric that I've had in my collection for a number of years. I got it from Fashion Fabrics Club a long time ago. It is this denim, like dark navy. What is the exact description? It is a blue and off-white, dark muted navy, off-white, 63% cotton, 46% tencel, no stretch, lightweight, Robert Kaufman chambray. And it came from Fashion Fabrics Club, like I said, several years ago, so I'm almost 100% certain it's not available anymore. But at the time of purchasing this, I purchased, because of the sale and because I was new to fabric sewing, I ordered a large amount, not knowing any better. So I have already used this fabric to make a dress. I'll see if I can insert a picture of it, if I can find one easily. And when I made the dress using this fabric, I made a Vogue dress, and there were a lot of exposed seams on that dress, and I really liked this fabric because of the two-toned yarns in here. I like the way the fray worked with that pattern. Anyway, I thought that I would do something fun with that for a lightweight pair of summer pants. I'm not really into shorts. So I thought that because this is a very lightweight fabric, that I would be able to make a pair of these, and I could embellish the yokes and then do something with the hemline, stack a bunch of embellishments, maybe do some bias trim. You know, I enjoyed making this cotton set recently, so I thought that I would kind of continue to ride that and do a pair of pants in kind of the same theme, except instead of just doing like one row of embellishment at the bottom like I did on those pants, I'm thinking maybe I could stack a few rows of embellishments, or maybe I could do a hem facing and do something, I don't know. But the waistband, or the yoke as they're calling it, is pretty wide. So I'm thinking that I could do something fun with the waistband or yoke and do something with the hem. And then I'm also thinking to complement this. Originally, I was just going to do a plain shirt, like a boxy top, or the Chelsea Raglan tee, which is a free pattern from fabricstore.com. And I thought maybe I would just add some elastic to the hem so that it would have kind of like a faux jumpsuit-esque type of scenario. But as I was going through my patterns and I was thinking about trying some different types of things, I realized I had this Simplicity pattern, this Mimi G pattern. It's Simplicity 8889. And I was thinking maybe a shirt with this high-low hem would work with these pants, but not in the same fabric. So I'm thinking that would work together. So this out of that Tencel fabric, and I believe that I have either a white or an off-white linen. I think I still have enough on hand that I could make the shirt out of the white linen. Maybe I could do blue navy top stitching if I have navy thread. Maybe I could do some decorative or just plain top stitching in navy against the white for the shirt, and then maybe the pants could be out of the navy Tencel, and I could do white decorative top stitching, and then they would be a coordinated set but could still be worn separate from each other also. I don't know. What do you think? Does that sound like something you would be interested in seeing? So that's what's been going on in the sewing room. I finished that. I fixed my pants. I think I have my next project lined up. As for what I'm wearing, this is just a Agostina boxy top. It's several years old. It's out of a hop sack. linen, I think is what it was called, from fabric, from Joann Fabrics several years ago in the clearance section. I just messed around. The Agostina Boxy top is designed to just have a round top, and I just played around with this one. I wanted to see what it would be like to try to create a V in the front and how I could get the bias to work around the V point. And then I just made an extension with like a little snap here to go across the neckline. I was just experimenting. Back when I first started sewing garments a few years ago, I always thought that it would be fun to take these very basic patterns, boxy tops, things that just have one or two pattern pieces to them, and play around with the different elements. Lengthen the sleeves, shorten the sleeves, alter the hem lengths, make scrap fabric ones, mess around with the neckline, just to practice different sewing elements. You know, maybe some different types of fabric manipulations like pin tucks and stuff like that. This was one of the first things I tried, just kind of messing about with the neckline, and I sort of veered from that, and I just haven't gotten back to it. It's something that I would like to revisit at some point if I have time. I just haven't had time. But that's it for my sewing room, what's been going on this week. Let me know if you think that my idea for the set is a good one, and if you're interested to see what that looks like. Let me know what's going on in your sewing room. Were you able to get anything sewn this week? Do you have any projects that you're working on now? And yeah, I think that's everything. And then, like I said, I'm working on a video to show you about the jacket that I just finished, so hopefully that will be coming out in a few days. And that's everything for this week in the sewing room. So thanks so much for stopping by and checking in, and until next time, take care. Bye.